Well, here we are. It's another water cooler Wednesday. And as you see, Lisa's not here just yet, but of course, as promised, we said this week we were going to talk about credit and understanding your credit and what you need to know in order to purchase a home and how to increase your credit. So, in order to do that, we brought with us Maurice Holmes from Credit
The Credit
Restoration.
Restore Station.
Say it again,
The
Maurice. What
Credit
is it?
Restore Station.
All right, all right, all right,
Tongue twister. Huh?
right. So let me see. Hold on a second. So, Maurice, tell us a little bit about your business and what are some of the things that we need to know about your business. So,
Yeah, yeah. If I can just throw a little background on there, is that okay?
mhm.
So, my business is the Credit Restore Station. I do specialize in the removal of negative, inaccurate, and derogatory accounts, as well as score boosting with things like trade lines. Utilizing trade lines if needed. I started doing credit back in 2007. The reason I started doing credit, I ain't know nothing about credit. Didn't know nothing about it. I tried to get my first apartment and I was denied. So I tried another place and I found a family friend that managed a complex, and she ran my credit at like 8 at night, and she saw it and she said, with credit like this, you won't get approved for a piece of bubble gum. Punched me right in the gut. But I'm glad I needed that gut punch. So she did rent to us just to help me and my wife off starting our new family. I began to look into credit from that moment on. Before that, I didn't know the importance of it.
Mhm.
But I looked into it. My credit report had 27 collections on it and 3 judgments and not one positive account. So I got going. I was doing online disputes, challenging, those collections. I was able to get 20 of those 27 collections removed with an online dispute process, which was much more effective back then than it is today. Uh,
Okay.
so after that, I started helping people out at my church, at no charge. Just wanted to see if I had something here and if I really knew what I was doing. And I was able to help quite a few people get their credit together and purchase homes and get cars or whatever. So eventually I started a business with it. And that was starting back in 2010. I started really helping people. But here we are, 2024, still going strong, connected with great people and great realtors like Dione Branch and lenders like Lisa. So,
Right. Let's bring Lisa in since we brought Lisa up.
oh,
All right.
your mama.
Hey y'all, how
Welcome.
y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. But
Good.
so you heard most of it. Maurice was just sharing with us about his experiences with his credit, and I'm sure he's not alone. We know we probably have a lot of people that watch us that are experiencing something very similar to it. And so, for us, it's like, what can we do to help people to resolve their issues? Let's first start with Lisa. Lisa, what is the credit score that is really needed in order to purchase a home?
Well, you usually want to have at least a 620. That's good. That's decent. Good would probably be more like around a 640, 660. A little bit better than good would probably put you around 680, 700. And then great would be like 720 and higher.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then when you have my understanding is when you have a higher credit score, a lot of people will hear lenders will say, "Oh, well, I can approve you with the 580, right, credit."
Mm-hmm.
But what the clients don't understand is they don't qualify for any of the grants and things like that
True.
when their score is that low. So typically you need a little higher score, and so around the 640 gets you in the
Yeah,
door with the
640,
real.
660 is good if you're looking for down payment assistance. But even more so than that, and when it comes to credit being lower, you one of the other things that you miss out on is going to be a lower interest rate because everything's going to be tied to the market. So if your score is higher, then that'll allow you to be able to get an interest rate that is lower. So usually people like for the interest rates to be lower.
Mhm.
So so
Right.
that's what you can more readily attain if you have a better credit score that's higher.
Hmm. All right. All right. I'm trying to move Maurice down and you up. All
Oh,
right.
there we okay,
There we go.
look at you.
All right. So, Maurice, what are ways to get to and maintain a high credit score?
Okay, yeah, that's important. I can share some ways. I think the first thing that we all know to do to get a good credit score and maintain a good credit score is to pay your bills. Pay your bills and pay them on time. If you got to set notifications, I have for my credit cards, I set notifications to go off a week before the due date because
Mm,
it's so easy to take a mental note and forget,
Hmm.
and a late payment is so devastating to a credit report. One late payment can drop your score by as many as I've seen 100 points. And once you've paid that account off and got it back current, they'll report positive activity reported, but you probably lost 100 points, and you're probably only going to gain about 30 points. When you make the next payment on time. So some ways to get to that decent, good, fair, great credit score is first by making sure you pay your bills on time. Do whatever you have to do to make sure you're not late on anything. Um, and then the second biggest thing I think would be to keep those credit card balances down. So a lot of people see their credit scores fluctuate a lot. You log in one week, it's this. Now you didn't drop by 20 points. You didn't went up by 10. And
Hmm.
in most cases, it's because of revolving credit. It's called revolving because it goes round and round, up and down.
round and around and around.
Right.
So I would say that probably the two most important, because if you look at revolving credit, which is your credit card balances and your credit usage, that impacts 30% of your credit score. And then your credit history is 35%. So not being late, 35%. Keeping your credit card balances low or at zero is 30%. That's 65%
That's
of your credit score right there.
65% already.
That's
Yep,
more
just
than
those two
half the
things.
battle of
Right.
maintaining good scores is not being late and keeping balances low. And I think some people just feel like because I have the credit card, I have to use it, and it's easy to swipe and use it, but it's not as easy to pay it off. So
Yeah.
you don't have to use that. Utilizing that credit card, that credit usage and paying it off has its perks. But if you're in the building stage or you're trying to accomplish goals, pay that card to zero. They'll still report every month as if you're using it, even though you're not. And then you're not going to pay anything in interest.
Hmm.
So you're just building some good credit history. You're protecting your score, from that 30%, effect, and getting yourself one step closer to reaching your goal. So,
Okay.
Good advice.
Yes. 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 So, um, should I pay off a collection?
no. So the only time I advise a person to pay off a collection is if that collection balance is minimal, and that's the only thing holding them back from starting that process. Like if you got a collection on your credit for $300
Mhm.
and you want to hire someone to address that, you're probably going to pay the amount of the collection,
Right. So
for the
just pay it off.
services. And then that process can take a couple months when you could have just used that money to settle the account. Because a lot of times when you pay a collection, you settle a collection, and then you dispute it, they got their money, so they're not going to respond, in most cases. But
Okay.
I would say not to pay a collection because collections, especially today, collections are the easiest accounts to remove from credit. they're actually easier in many instances, and on a consistent basis, they're more easier than inquiries. Charge-offs are the most challenging, but collections are easy, and the reason they're easy in most instances because these collection agencies usually don't have any type of documentation holding you accountable to the account. So challenging it, they usually can't verify or prove that it's yours. They usually don't have nothing bearing signatures or anything of that nature. And some of them just not licensed to do business in the state,
Wow.
So in most instances, they're not going to either respond or they're not going to respond in time. But most of the time, they're just not going to respond. What they tend to do is just keep on trying to contact you to just collect. But I see collections come off the quickest.
Hmm. So if someone calls you, if the collector calls you, should you and they ask you acknowledges this your debt?
Yeah.
What should you not say anything, or should you not take their calls?
Sorry, wrong number.
The number you have reached.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I encourage my clients, while I'm working on their credit, I let them know that these collection agencies are going to try to reach out to you. If they text you, send that STOP stop so they can stop texting you. They're going to try to record you on the phone acknowledging the debt so they can
Mhm.
use that to fight it with the credit bureaus against you. So
Mm.
if you do end up speaking to them and they say, we're calling you in reference to a debt, and you can say, I do not acknowledge this debt as mine, but I would like more information about it. So you don't want to acknowledge that because the reality is you never had a contract with portfolio recovery. Let's just use them as an example. You never
Right.
had a contract with portfolio recovery. You had a contract with Capital One, maybe. Well, Capital One then charged this account off, wrote it off so they can close their books, and they sold it to this collection agency for a little bit of nothing. Now, this collection agency, this is how they make their money. The more they're able to collect on that debt, the more money they make because they probably got it for a little bit of nothing.
Mhm.
But you technically didn't have a contract with them and you never did business with them. So, yeah, do not acknowledge that debt, challenge that debt, dispute that debt. And in most cases, you're able to get that off yourself. And just as a piece of advice for, I know I may be jumping the gun here, but for those that want to learn credit and are interested in trying to do these things themselves, if you're going to challenge a debt, I would highly encourage you to not be lazy. Do not use online disputes. They don't warrant good results. It's not often at all. Write your letter up and mail it. Don't go looking for no Google template. Write up a letter in your own words that sounds realistic from a human being. These systems try to weed out these template letters. And if you're using a credit repair company and they're going to send you some standard stall tactic letter, and try not to do the dispute. So you want it to come from you. You want to make it look like it's coming from you. I create disputes on behalf of my clients. And it's becoming more challenging these days because you have so many people professing to do credit and be credit repair experts with no certifications, and they're
Yeah.
just putting anything out there. And because the bureaus are flooded with all these different letters and even more so now, they send a lot of these stall tactic letters out. Anything that looks basic, general, they just flag it and they won't even do an investigation. So I've had to get pretty creative, over the last year. Like I would say 2 to 3 months, I'm creating and revitalizing my techniques and changing them up just
Mhm.
to, not show that consistent pattern that they're receiving of these letters, just
Yeah.
gotta switch it up because yeah, people make it harder,
Mhm.
when they're just sending them anything. So mail it in though. I would encourage that certified mail, write your letters up, challenge those accounts, make them prove with documentation, that they have documentation to hold you accountable to the account.
Okay. All
That's
right.
awesome. I
Well,
had no idea you had to do all that, Maurice.
Yes, my hard drive is loaded. I've created so many different techniques. Yeah.
okay.
That's awesome. So what are some of the things that what can we do? Is there anything that you would suggest for us as professionals, as a realtor and lender team? how can we kind of support the process, or support our customers as they go through the process of restoring credit?
I think the the follow up, the encouragement pieces is important, because it's so easy to get discouraged in the process,
Mm,
or it's so easy to get off track. You know,
okay.
People will have a plan and be motivated. They get off the phone with Lisa or with Dione, and y'all got them pumped up about let's make you hit your goal, and then that's right.
Right.
And
Right.
sometimes, sometimes our environment impacts us. If you're
Yeah.
around people that's not really trying to do anything in life and is content with, not owning or anything like that, you're not getting that same motivation or that same push or that same encouragement that you need. So sometimes that follow up and just checking in with that client and, you know, adding a little bit of fire back to them, because sometimes they just get comfortable and be like, it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. But they're not doing anything. It's like, I would ask a person, what do you want to be, when you get older? What's your plans? They say, I mean, these are grown people, I'm talking about early 20s. I want to be a doctor. Okay, well, what are you doing now to become a doctor? And
Hmm.
they haven't investigated any schools, anything,
Wow.
anything to get to them, to put them in a position to become a doctor, because you can't get somewhere going nowhere. And my
Right.
slogan is the first step is to take a step, So it's the same thing, with this, with people and their goals. It's like you say you want a house, and there's things that you have to do to get that house. First thing is you need to check in, with a lender, uh, so they can advise you on the things that need to be done. And if there's credit work that needs to be done, they can set you up, with some resources or tools to help you,
Right.
and then connect you with that realtor to help you, because people go shopping for houses on Zillow and Netflix. And I didn't have clients say, I'm looking, I saw this house. Stop looking. You're going to get your feelings hurt. You know where I've been there. You'll get your feelings hurt and the house is gone in 2 weeks. And yeah, so yeah, I know I just blabber a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, no, I mean that's a really some good information, because a lot of times we do get these clients who acknowledge that they need a little repair on their credit before they get to us, or they
Yeah.
might have went on Credit Karma, and Credit Karma told them that they could buy a house because their score was 640. But then what
Right.
happens is they
Mm,
talk to Lisa.
what you tell them, Lisa?
And Lisa
Like
said,
that ain't no six. That ain't no real 640. No,
Oh,
you more like
right,
around the 614. Six
yeah.
it's
fourteen, not 640.
right. Why is Credit Karma
Mm.
busting their bubble like this? Why are they doing that?
Credit Credit Karma and broke so many hearts. It sold so many false dreams.
Oh,
I had a friend that told me, because Credit Karma uses what's called Vantage scoring, and they said there is no advantage to Vantage. Vantage scores is a disadvantage, and she's absolutely right, because most lenders use some form of a FICO score. And there's several different variations of FICO scores. I know a lot of auto lenders used to use primarily Vantage scores, but even a lot of auto lenders have gotten away from Vantage and use more of some form of a FICO score. So what I tell people, because I use Credit Karma to monitor my clients, and I don't use it for scoring. And I tell them, we don't focus on Credit Karma scores. If Credit Karma shows you a score increase, that means something's changed, but you don't depend on that score. So now you want to go look at a FICO score to see how that change impacted your FICO scores. But the
mhm.
actual reporting on Credit Karma, the accounts, the updates, all that information is accurate. So it's good to use, because on TransUnion via Credit Karma, the TransUnion reports update daily most of the time.
Oh,
They're supposed to
Mhm.
update every day, but sometimes it's a delay. And the Equifax usually updates every 7 days. So if I'm working on a client and we've submitted some disputes and it's a 30-day process, I can check for early updates on Experian.com every day, because they update your report every day. But I
Mhm.
can also check Credit Karma look at TransUnion because they update daily to see if any changes versus having to wait the full 30 days to pull fresh reports. So
Okay.
that's what I use Credit Karma for, just to monitor. And then it's just good because if someone runs your credit and you're not, you didn't authorize it, you're going to start getting all those alerts from Credit Karma.
Yeah.
There's a new
Right.
inquiry. And you need that, especially in this day and age where identity theft is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
Wow, we almost at the end of the show.
It'll go back fast when you're having
It,
fun, I
I
tell you.
know
Right.
it seemed like this is only the tip of the iceberg. We didn't even really get to ask we didn't get to drill you with a whole bunch of questions.
I was ready for y'all. I think I was ready for y'all.
Right.
So,
So,
did you have something else, Dion? Because I know we get near the end.
no, well, if anybody is interested in working with Maurice, so Maurice does two things. One, in Maurice, you can share with them, you advise or you can do the work, right?
Yes, yes. So I offer free credit evaluations. That's a big part of my business model. I don't charge for advice, guidance, and direction. So if you just needed some direction and you needed some guidance on where you should start, how you should start, I share that information at no charge. I only charge if you're
Okay.
hiring me on to do work. Granted, if I'm giving you these free services, it's on my time now. So keep that in mind now. So you got to work with my schedule. Yep, if you're interested in getting that free evaluation, which is important because you can't fix a problem that you're not aware of. And you need to evaluate the credit to see the position that you're in. Because I've had people come to me and say, my credit is shot, and if anybody know what shot is me, because I had 27 daughters.
Right.
But when I would look at their credit, they would have three collections, good payment history, credit card balances are halfway, and that means their situation isn't shot, and it's a simple
Right.
fix. So I would advise them on what they can do themselves, and then I would also send them a quote if they needed me to address the removal of some of those accounts. So yeah, that's my process. I encourage free evaluations, so you can know where you stand.
Okay.
All
And
right.
Maurice, he talked about Experian.com. So this is one of the three bureaus that you can go to check on your credit, right?
Yes, so I highly encourage people to use Experian.com. When you log in, they're going to show you a FICO 8 score, but there is a way in there. If you go to scores, they'll show you other like your lender score, your auto score as well.
Mhm.
And it's probably about 6 different FICO scores you can see through Experian.com. But I use Experian.com because when you create your free account and you log in, they're going to give you a free trial upgrade where you can see all three bureaus at no charge, and you're going to get all three scores. So you do the upgrade, review your credit, review your scores, and then you can just go to your account settings, go to manage membership, and switch it back to free. And guess what? In about 10 to 15 days, they're going to offer you another free trial upgrade where you can upgrade, see all three, go to your account settings, and review, switch it back to free. I've been doing this for years. I am not paying for a three bureau report, and I encourage all my clients to do the same, and I teach them that as well. So,
Mm.
All
yeah.
right. All
He
Yeah.
just
right.
he just gave away one of the tricks.
Well, that's tricks
You
right
got
there.
$24 in your pocket.
So
I put it
you're
down for the house.
interested, right? So guys, if you're interested in getting pre-approved, we always say start with the lender first. So
Yes.
Lisa J. White is with Nexa, and she'll be able to help you as far as getting your pre-approval. You can always give me a call. I don't know where my phone number is. Oh, there it is. You can always give me a call if you want to know more about purchasing the house. Maury said, don't look at the houses, but I like to set you up on a little alert so you can get an idea of what's out there while you're working on your credit. We
Yeah.
can't go see any houses, but we can look at the houses and we can learn from them. And then if you need a little help, and like we said, Maurice is here. He's part of our team, and we always send our people to him when they need a little assistance. So,
And I think a good thing to kind of reiterate as we close out is something Maurice said, which is as far as how we can help our customers. And that would be just because I tell people this a lot of times, you don't know what you don't know. And so a lot of times, like he made reference to how this person thought that their situation was so bad. And it really wasn't bad at all. It was a quick, easy fix.
Yeah.
A lot of times that might be the situation our customers find themselves in. They think it's so bad, and it's really not that bad at all.
right.
So just make that call. Call him, call me, call Dion. Any one of us on the team can help, but just don't allow what you think is so bad to stop you from taking that
Yes.
first step.
Yes.
All
Awesome.
right. All right. Well, we want to take a moment and say thank you for joining us. Sorry.
She meant to do that.
I did. I did not. I did set us up to go out, but thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you.
Have a great Wednesday.